Kate, before we talk about supporting sick kids, tell me a little bit about your role at Fasken and what Fasken does.
Yeah, for sure, Amber. So my name is Kate, obviously. I am a business advisor at Fasken. So a lot of people ask me, what the heck is a business advisor? Because it's an unusual term for a law firm to have. So my background has been as an operator, working across many tech companies, helping them grow and scale. Then I moved into venture capital, and now I work within our emerging tech team to really do a couple of things. First of it is to work within the tech ecosystem, helping accelerators, incubators, helping them with my time, really doing that guidance. And then I do the same thing internally for our clients as well, which is really great. And so guiding them through that whole startup life cycle from incorporation to scale up to hopefully exit, and just really being there as their phone a friend in the ecosystem. I swear I get everything from, hey, we have questions about our shareholder agreement, we're fundraising and want to talk to some VCs you're connected to, oh my God, I'm a solo founder and I have no idea what I'm doing, and I think I made a mistake quitting my full-time job. Which, let's be honest, if you haven't said that, are you really a founder? But that's kind of the gist of what I do within the emerging tech practice. And it's a really exciting, really interesting role because I get to work with really great innovators, founders across Canada, and just really am helping the ecosystem grow.
Excellent. I love that phone a friend feature. I'm going to try that sometime. Will, what about your role?
Right. So I'm a partner at Fasken. I'm also the national co-leader of our technology, media, and telecommunications practice, as well as one of the national co-leaders of our emerging technology practice. My actual practice of law is focused on financing and M&A, and I spend all my time working with high-growth tech companies or venture capital firms pretty well at every stage of growth in the ecosystem.
So now that we have a better sense of what you both do at Fasken, let's talk about the support of sick kids. So Kate, why is this important to both you as well as the company?
For sure. So, when we went to support sick kids, it was really an easy yes for us. It is something that we have seen firsthand through various people within the tech ecosystem saying, we've had to help our children by going to sick kids. We've had to spend time working with them. And we really recognize firsthand that this was something that combined both our passion for giving back to the ecosystem, because our team really works with this, call it give first mentality, where we would rather somebody get the help they need. We'd rather somebody get some advice than go to, call it LLP Google, which raise your hand if you've ever done that. And so it really combined our love of innovation, but also our love of giving back. And we've really seen our full team, all 80 plus of us across Canada, lean into this initiative, be it whether they in Toronto, outside of Toronto, and thinking through what that looks like.
Well, when we speak about supporting sick kids, there are people out there who will say, well, sick kids already gets a lot of funding. What would you say to that?
I think about something like funding in the context of value creation. So, the way I think about SickKids is it's an incredible organization that creates a ton of value, especially for families in Ontario. That value creation, for example, we went to a tour of SickKids through Tech and Biz for SickKids, and they took us through the emergency room, and we got to actually see how they're using AI to shorten wait times, to deliver faster care, better care. And as someone with small children, if you've ever taken them to an emergency room, faster care, better care is just an incredible value add. And it's not, something that we see, everywhere across Canada. It's a very unique thing to Toronto and to SickKids. And then even indirectly, BetaKit had an article this week about Radiant Biotherapeutics, and they raised a $35 million Series A. The Gates Foundation is one of the investors. And in the headline of that article, it's science that was developed at SickKids. And so I just think that that's a real testament to the value that SickKids creates. And on a dollar for dollar basis, I think you have a hard time finding that everywhere.
I think you brought up a really good point, and that brings me to the next question, which is really what you're talking about, this idea of precision child health and what we're all doing to support sick kids right now. When we talk about supporting innovation, even beyond healthcare or tech, how important is this to Fasken's DNA?
Yeah, Fasken's a very entrepreneurial firm. We are historically open-minded, and we really believe in community as one of our core principles of our firm. And so, dating back, most people don't know this, but we have been working with emerging technology companies since the 90s. And it dates back to a practice that was started in Vancouver and our colleague Keith Spencer, who was working with high growth tech companies before it was cool. But what that really did within Fasken was it created this real life understanding of the value of innovation or thinking differently or being a little bit outside the box in terms of how you approach the practice of law or your community or opportunities that we have. And so I think when you think about Fasken's DNA, it's really infused with people like Keith. It's infused with a lot of those kinds of examples where we've taken risks or what might have been perceived as risks at the time to do something different and to try to innovate, either in how we practice, in who we work with, and how we work with them. And, we've just seen that be a real testament to success.
It is true, Kate, that we throw around this term innovation all the time. And I think it means different things to different people. I would even go as far as to say, it means different things at different times.
Definitely.
How would you define innovation and what does that mean to you?
For sure. And I think, to build on Will's point, Fasken, generally speaking, we have been a very tech-forward innovation style law firm. I mean, they hired someone like me, which is, I have yet to meet a counterpart of mine. I don't think they exist in other firms. We probably shouldn't let the secret out. Strike it from the record. But no, I think it's a really hard question to ask because, when I think about innovation, a lot of people think about a founder sitting in a garage, like typing away on a computer, the very traditional kind of tech founder. And I actually don't think that is all of what innovation encompasses. I think there is external innovators. So yes, there are the startups, there are the people that I'm working with day to day, but then I also see a lot of innovation happening within an organization and an internal innovator where maybe there's a doctor working at SickKids that has a really smart idea, develops the IP, and then is innovating from within. And that doesn't have to be a doctor, it can be anyone. So I think I really like to think of innovation and being an innovator as more of a broad term in the sense of anyone can be an innovation. The death of innovation is, well, this is how we've always done it, so why would we change that? And that is something that I really think is detrimental to a lot of people's thinking, and change is good and accepting change is good. And so to me, innovation has been helping foster that ecosystem, helping foster these really great ideas that maybe aren't coming from somebody's garage, let's say, but maybe coming from a lab or maybe coming from somebody that's sitting in an accounting department. And that's where we really see a lot of our entrepreneurs coming from because they've lived this problem. They understand it deeply. And those are the entrepreneurs that I see getting funded the most.
It's really interesting, and I assume basically, since I know now that you have that sort of call a friend a feature available for some of the entrepreneurs that you work with, you hear a lot of the stories about maybe even a lack of support for people on this innovation path. What more can we do for some of those Toronto entrepreneurs and startup founders to help really nurture innovation in the city and beyond?
Yeah, I mean, I think for myself, there is a lot of great support. Depending what industry you're in, it definitely ebbs and flows, but there are some great grants that have been recently announced by the Canadian government. The one that comes to mind is Elevate IP or IP Ontario. Those have been really lucrative for startups. But I also think the biggest, I'm not sure if it's a miss, but the biggest kind of point that I see founders calling me about is I don't have anyone to talk to. I don't have anyone in my network that's doing this. And I find this especially with founders that maybe have spun out of a lab or have, left their secure corporate job, and their friends and family are like, what the heck are you doing? You were making money and now you're making zero. I talk to these people day in, day out. Will does as well. And I think that's where I see there is some support, but there's still gaps missing. And I'm sure we can name all the accelerators and they're all excellent. All the accelerators are excellent. All of those resources are out there. But if this is your first time doing this and you have maybe never founded a company before. You have no idea what you're doing. Like, let's be honest, most of us have no idea what we're doing in this industry. Maybe Will does because he is the lawyer, but just that support and being able to say, this is my problem. Like, who else has had this problem and how do we come together? And there is a lot of grassroots initiatives, but you really have to like know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody to get into them.
Absolutely. Will, just one final question for you in terms of supporting sick kids. I mean, that's why we're having this conversation in the first place. I think SickKids is one of those places where people think, oh, it's just going to continue to kind of operate. You know, we don't really need to do that much more. It's it's globally recognized. When you think about the fact that we have this incredible place in our own backyard and how important it is for organizations like Fasken to support sick kids, what would you say to other people out there in the tech community or beyond who are thinking, okay, you know what, maybe I should look into supporting sick kids on this path, especially when it comes to new and emerging tech like artificial intelligence?
I would say I feel very lucky to have an organization like SickKids in our community. I didn't grow up in Toronto. I grew up out west. And, I've seen that SickKids is actually a very unique organization. We, as someone with small children, again, like, I just feel, my wife and I say to each other all the time, it's incredible to live in a city that has teaching hospitals. It's incredible to live in a city that has world-class healthcare like a SickKids. The rest of Canada, I kind of think of SickKids as a bit of a beacon. It's an opportunity for us to be a leader nationally. It's an opportunity for us to support leadership globally in healthcare. Canada can occasionally be a place where new inventions come and they leave and they go out to other places. They go down to the United States, insulin or cryptocurrency or whatever it may be. Like, we love to export our technology elsewhere and our innovation elsewhere, but SickKids is a thing that's like, it's really a Toronto thing. It's something that we can really own and support and nurture, and we can use that as our real, pad to leap out and put something out into the world that we will ultimately be able to keep here in Toronto. And so, I just feel very lucky to have that kind of opportunity. And I think we would just be remiss if we didn't take advantage of something like that.
Absolutely. Well, listen, thank you to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.